Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verla's here to some more Fan Fridays, this time featuring some battles from John, who is looking to rewrite everything we know about Pokemon. So, early Focus Punch hitting for the win. When I see something like the Breloom next to a Lopunny, I'm like, wait a second, can you after you the Focus Punch? And if so, have I talked about it before? Like, is my memory that bad that I don't remember talking about this combo? Or has it just been something that's overlooked, but has no reason to not work, but people don't try it anyways? I don't know. Because, like, Focus Punch, that's a pretty off-the-radar move to begin with. Same with After You, but it's like you bring it together, I don't see a reason why it wouldn't work. It is negative priority. There could be some barricades right there. But overall, I have it, like, it does also seem like it's impossible just speed up the Focus Punch and then do insane amounts of damage. So Mega Lopunny is going to be the choice for Lopunny. Makes sense. 135 base speed. That's a pretty fast drain, or pretty fast Focus Punch. And then we're going to see what the Breloom can do with Focus Punch. It's also a pretty powerful Pokemon to begin with. So Caracosta, that's going to be a fake out right there. Spore, that's going to go and target the Araquanid. So that's pretty good. Like, I'm going to say that's just good stuff all around. Like, you get the lockdown into the extra lockdown. And are we going to get something else? Ooh. Fancy Toxic Orb on the Breloom. I guess when you're playing with that safety behind the Lopunny, there it is, tightening the focus, and you can do it. Apparently, it works. Just like that. And there's a lot of potential right here. That outside of the Focus Punch, this also seems pretty good for multiple reasons. That Lopunny, you can just after you the Spore into anything. I think we've seen like an after you. We've seen after you on Fan Fridays. I don't exactly remember what happened because I think we've done like 8, 9. Are we at 1,000 Fan Fridays? I stopped keeping track a long time ago. But yeah, with this, Breloom's just gonna keep going for it. And I guess as long as one Pokemon's asleep, you can get away with that. So yeah, how much? Well, I mean, I was about to say how much damage is gonna be against the Steelix, but I mean that's stab, incredible amounts of pace power. But Steelix actually manages to survive. That might be a bit more surprising right there. And then Steelix is going to go for the Stealth Rock because it's Battle Tree. So my guess is that this is using the Battle Tree as theory crafting and just kind of showing like, oh hey, it works, and you can maybe even use it to sweep the Battle Tree, but then also kind of getting serious for some later battles. So we'll probably see some Battle Spot here pretty soon. And then Drain Punch. Because Drain Punch Poison Heal is also pretty ridiculous on the Breloom. Lopunny, it has solid amounts of damage as well. Like, it all just comes together and works. Is how I feel about this. Because, yeah, like, what if you know that Breloom is going to get focused but can survive, or Lopunny can take a hit but survive? So what you do is just after you the Spore, put down that Pokemon, and then the next turn you just Focus Punch the after you and then get a KO while the other Pokemon's asleep. Like, there seems to be some good natural synergy here, and then these are also just very powerful Pokemon. Problem is, I feel like fighting just completely wrecks this. But yeah, Breloom gets the Spore on the slower Pokemon, Lopunny gets the outspeed as a faster Pokemon, and I think covering for this, you know, you can play everything. Breloom shuts down tanks super hard by just getting that outspeed into sleep. I'm guessing Lopunny... Wait, what? 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 Double Focus Punch? Oh, that's so wrong because you put him to sleep, and then you just... And also, how do you respond to that? You have Lopunny and Breloom double Focus Punching. Unless you hit both of them, you're going to eat something, and it's going to not be good. Oh, that's actually... Okay, so I was also wondering, like, what do we have? Like an Ice Punch? That way we can deal with a couple of issues. You know, flying is going to give us some problems. Ice Punch is also just good coverage overall against things that we can't hit super hard. So yeah, that was pretty fancy. Like I said, there's probably going to be a Battle Spot battle, so let's go and find that. Yeah, so there we are, we're into the next battle, and I was just looking at it, and it is one of those things, like, yeah, Focus Punch, there isn't really anything about how it can't have the priority changed or else it'll fail or something, so you can still use After You, it seems, and then we look at the move for After You, it doesn't even have any. I guess the thing is, when you think about Trick Room, you know, Trick Room is this unmoving, ferocious, negative priority move, and then it you know, the turn order and all that weirdness. So when you're playing around with turn order with moves like After You start to get into some pretty gray areas or just like unexplored territory with Pokemon. But even then, it doesn't seem like it's against Trick Room, it's not against Focus Punch or anything like that, and it makes sense. Because if you think about with Trick Room, well, you use After You, and then you use Trick Room, and then there's no other Pokemon for your turn order to get a little messy with. And also, turn order, for the most part, is decided when the moves are locked in. Then After You just has a direct effect on that. So I guess in, like, old triple battles, even then the Trick Room wouldn't have much of an effect. So some interesting things to consider right there. And then going into the Focus Punch, yeah, it's -3 priority, but let's get rid of that. I guess also using After You on Trick Room has its own benefits, because then that means that with the Trick Room, it can't get out-taunted. Like, if it's non-prankster taunt, or if anything would outspeed that, potentially KO the Pokemon, potentially shut it down, can actually get the Trick Room that way. Why haven't we seen that? Just in, like, those weird niche scenarios, and now we use it for Focus Punch. Again, in doubles, it is pretty risky because one of your Pokemon is vulnerable. That's why you bring in the Breloom. Like, Breloom, I love this part about Fan Fridays, I kind of point this out a lot, is that a lot of times we see the theoretical perfect Pokemon for the strategy, that it's like, oh, wait a second, this, I maybe have thought of the strategy before, or someone else could have thought of the strategy, but I didn't think about it in that perfect combo, with that perfect setup, to make it about as optimal as possible. And with the Breloom, it gives you that. Fake Out Spore, well, now that means if you can KO something with that Drain Punch, or you can just kind of keep that momentum on your side, doesn't matter if one of your Pokemon is vulnerable. And even if one of those Pokemon is vulnerable for a turn, you still don't have to worry about getting directly KO'd, because it seems to be like a tankier Breloom. I'm wondering if it's just like hit point attack, because what's the point of having speed if you're going to be having potential After You shenanigans? Lopunny also gains like a little bit of stats off that Mega Evolution, and it can be pretty bulky, as long as it's not getting like just one-shot super effective hits and stuff. So that's something to consider. Swampert going to come in with that Protect. Either way, like, whatever gets hit doesn't get hit, GG like that. So Lopunny's going to go for the Fake Out. Now we're going to see how advanced this play gets. Breloom Spore onto the Raikou, because two things are happening. Opponent's switching that Swampert because there's a Breloom there, or the opponent is going to Protect on the Swampert because there's a Breloom there. So you just double down, like the one Pokemon that gets moved for that turn, keep it out of the game. So that's going to be a withdrawal on the Swampert. Going into the Entei, looking for a bit more fancy. Entei is going to be also taking down a hacker with some shenanigans. Always love it. Entei is going to be interesting, because I don't think there's enough damage on that Focus Punch to take down the Entei. So Lopunny going to return onto the Raikou. Just get the KO. Okay, I guess you can do that too. That's cool. And Breloom's going to Seed Bomb. Oh wait, right, that was right. It was a switch turn. So I was like, yeah, was it going to be just the Focus Punch onto the or the Swampert? Looks like no, and then there's an Umbreon there. So putting out a delicious, juicy Dark-type Pokemon in the face of two fighting types. Alright, Breloom's going to Titan Focus, Lopunny's going to go for the After You. If this KOs the Entei, I am going to be absurdly surprised. Focus Punch onto the Entei. Damn. That's good. And that's Rocky Helmet, too. That's why, because I'm like, Entei's generally a bulky Pokemon. I need to run that damage calculation after this battle. Going into, I don't think Curse is going to save this this Umbreon after we see that damage come through. So that's something. And then Breloom going to get that Poison Heal, almost back up to full, just like that. Also can't be status. It's like, cool. Will-O-Wisp isn't going to affect it anymore. Don't have to worry about anything. That's going to be pretty free. Swampert comes in. The opponent just forfeit. Okay. I don't really know. I guess I gotta get a damage calculation up and see what happened. Alright, now before we get into those damage calculations, I did also remember something else. Assist. Assist does not work with Focus Punch. I was just kind of adding to that stigma of like weird things that don't work with Focus Punch because maybe the priority and like the interactions and stuff. Same with the Me First. Won't copy Focus Punch and stuff like that. So getting into damage calculations are also pretty interesting. So it looks like the Focus Punch on the Breloom just has high potential for high amounts of damage, does all kinds of crazy things. And having the Seed Bomb combo into the Focus Punch was enough to KO, but it looks like it wasn't a tank-invested Entei, which I guess is also something that you do see. I was expecting, you know, if it had more hit point investment, would have been a bit more difficult to KO. And then let's add that to the Seed Bomb. Just see how much we had. Actually, yeah, like not very high chance to KO if it was like full hit point investment, any defense investment or stuff like that. But I guess when you break down the Entei, it does have a high chance of being offensive. So I guess just good damage rolls potentially, because like I know Entei was missing some health after that Seed Bomb, but I still didn't think there was enough after that Focus Punch. At the end of the day though, 130 attacking Pokemon using a 150 base power move, going to be pretty hard to contend with. And with that, let's go into the last battle submission that we have. This one looks to be pretty pretty intense because yeah, Garchomp, that's just a bulky Pokemon. Hurry, while the thing is going, how much damage do we do against the Garchomp with all this fun stuff? Got the damage calculation. Boom. Focus Punch, not a one-hit KO. So yeah, it's kind of what I'm looking at. Like, you know, the average Pokemon is just going to get completely wrecked by this. But the anything else that has like above average bulk, not going to be that insane, which is why I feel like this strategy has like these weird moments. But let's go and watch the battle, see how this one ends up playing out. And Lopunny with that fake out. So yeah, you fake out the Garchomp, shut it down just like that, Breloom with the Spore, and it looks like the Spore is going to target the Garchomp in anticipation of, you know, Rotom switching or protecting, because, hey, Seed Bomb onto Rotom, that's just free damage you don't want to have to worry about when it can be protected or swapped. But Rotom is going to take that Will-O-Wisp, and Will-O-Wisp is targeting the Lopunny, which, as an after-use support, kind of not the worst, but we have seen this Lopunny want to take the offensive, so then Breloom will be poisoned by Toxic Orb, which means now it's not going to be vulnerable to that Will-O-Wisp. So so Breloom having some quality of life right there. Garchomp, it's asleep, and Lopunny is going to still go for damage on that return. So it looks like we're not seeing the Focus Punch, and I guess that's just because of the situation. Why Focus Punch when you can hit Rotom for more super effective damage? Like, that's one way you can look at the Focus Punch. The Focus Punch neutral is almost as much damage as a super effective Seed Bomb. So just pretend that Pokemon's getting hit with a super effective Seed Bomb, and that's the damage we're looking at. So Discharge comes in. See, Lopunny has good natural bulk, I guess, like that. And Breloom hardly takes any damage, heals up most of it off of that Poison Heal. Garchomp's still asleep and getting outsped. So like, everything just looks so nice. Lopunny's speed covers for the Breloom in unexpected ways. Like, we're not seeing the Focus Punch strat, but this is still working. You know, you just fake out, you Spore, you combo, you outspeed, you damage. Breloom's kind of backing it up. As long as it's not getting hit with super effective hits, it seems just fine. Now, that is going to be the Electric Seed, raising Tapu's defense. Alright, Garchomp, that's going to be another return, so taking some damage. Seed Bomb onto Tapu Koko. Hits well, but that Electric Seed going to make it to where Tapu Koko is a 3-hit KO instead of a 2-hit KO, and now Breloom's at full health. Garchomp getting the bad RNG and staying asleep, so could have had an opportunity to just wake up, pop the Lopunny right there, but doesn't have it, and then Lopunny still outspeeds, gets the return. So I think that's just kind of like the trade that we're accepting right now, you know? Even with that, having a Pokemon faster than Tapu Koko and that Lopunny, very nice to have as well. And Nature's Madness comes through, hits the Breloom, half its health, and Seed Bomb in return. So unless crit, Tapu Koko's still going to be alive, and that's kind of the breakdown. So Poison Heal comes through, and there we go. So standard stuff. We haven't seen like the after you shenanigans just yet, but could get fancy. Then we have Alakazam come in. Okay, so Alakazam going to go to mix things up as well, and that's going to be the Mega Stone. So this is actually kind of unfortunate. Like, we had either super effective hit on that Seed Bomb, and now we have Fairy and Psychic types. So there's really nothing to do the Focus Punch combo with. And now it's high amounts of speed and high amounts of threat. Oh, Lopunny with the return onto the Alakazam, and then that's going to be the Dazzling Gleam. I feel that could have been played a little better, maybe. Like, maybe do the after you wait. I keep getting all this tripped up. Yeah, the after you into the Spore onto the Alakazam, something like that maybe, or just going for the KO on Tapu Koko because you can, and that would pretty much ruin the opponent's day. So now we have Bullet Seed coming out. So that's just outspeed dunk onto Tapu Koko. Not a lot of damage, though. It, like, really needs that skill link to do something. Needs to find those flinches as well. But, hey, it took out the Tapu Koko in the end. And that's going to be a feint right there. And Alakazam, just using that Dazzling Gleam. Unfortunately, the split damage non-stab on even a Pokemon like Alakazam's not going to be crazy. But then Beartic with the coverage takes down Alakazam. And now it's done. Rotom, whatever it does, it's just going to get outsped Bullet Seed. And then bad things happen. And that's going to be a GG. Backup damage from the Beartic if we need it. And there we go. So yeah, that's going to be... Oh, why does everything has the Focus Punch just because? So showing the Focus Punch off in the end with not enough damage to take out Rotom. Oh, that's unfortunate. But it's because, like, hey, my Cinccino is pretty fast too. and then I can do the bear tick with this, because why not? I guess if you have a Pokemon Faint, might as well bring in another Pokemon that does exactly what everything else is doing, for fun. So now, cutting that out, outspeed, bullet speed, taking down the Rotom, just showing the flex that they could. That's gonna be it. So yeah, I've already talked enough, I feel, about how weird things happen. You know, it's just like, yeah, this is a mechanic. I'm pretty sure a lot of people already knew about this, but it just comes down to if, like, you explored it. Like I said, I might have even shown this on Fan Fridays. I might have talked about this at some point, I just don't remember. But it is a doable thing, and it has good amounts of support in the 7th generation, because Mega Evolution getting that speed initially works pretty well. A lot of things just kind of end up working out for this. So you guys enjoy the battle, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Well, welcome back, Wolfpack. Breloom here to some more Fan Fridays, this time featuring a battle with one of my biggest fans, and I have no idea where it's going to go. We got Trick Room Heracross. Alright, great. Fan Friday submission over, GG, done, just like that. Awesome, cool. But, I mean, what's the extra twist? What is going to take this to an entirely new level? And also, it's against the Tapu Koko, Raichu, Electric I mean, fortunately, the biggest thing about the Raichu with the Tapu Koko is that you try to get that speed, but Trick Room is going to attempt to remove that. So we're going to see what the opponent does to respond, how we can make this successful, and then what ends up happening as a result. Because, like, is Tapu Koko just going to go for the taunt? But then Oranguru has the Mental Herb, and then stats, and then Heracross protecting itself anyway, so Raichu's Psychic will be protected, and Tapu Koko with that Electro Ball wants to hit the Oranguru, but that's not going to be enough. You need to double focus. You can't just take it out with a little bit of an Electro Ball from a Tapu Koko. So that's going to be Trick Room up. Everything the opponent worked for, already gone. Psychic connects on Tapu Koko for decent damage, and Heracross sitting on a Shadow Claw. Enough to KO the Raichu. Coverage, Heracross. GG no re. Moxie, Trick Room, doubles Heracross. Okay, starting to go into this one. As we see the Tapu Koko throw down another Electro Ball, still hitting the Oranguru, still going for the damage. Primarina now entering the field. I don't know how slow the Heracross is. I know that people like Scarf it sometimes. That's not the most insane thing ever, but the Instruct coming through. Oh, the Instruct double Moxie, just wreckage right there. That's definitely something that could happen. So then that's gonna be Shadow Claw on the Primarina. Ooh, another Shadow Claw follow-up on the Primarina. That's going to be KO into the Moxie. I'm wondering how tanky, like, you know, max hit points, max attack, Heracross can get away with this. Probably survive something from a Pokemon like Tapu Koko. And I was expecting, like, a Rock Slide, that after you take the Instruct, you Rock Slide, hit both opponents at +1, that could have been a double KO. Nature's Madness, not going to be doing much to the Heracross. And then Tapu Fini coming in. So Heracross is set up. The Shadow Claw is not going to be absurd, but we're going to see where this goes. And if Heracross uses Shadow Claw again, I was about to say, if Heracross uses Shadow Claw, oh, okay, that's an after you. I was about to say it's Choice Banded, but no, after you Focus Punch onto the Tapu Fini, it doesn't matter that the hit is resisted. That is going to be enough to KO. So Oranguru sitting on the Trick Room after you Focus Punch combo. Moxie going to just crank up that Heracross' stats. Also, I'm an idiot because it was Life Orb, not Choice Band the entire time. We saw the Life Orb damage tick down. It's hard to keep up with everything going on the screen of Fan Fridays. I have zero time to react because it's just instant. And yeah, so they could try to focus the Oranguru, or they could just, you know, just die. Like, that's the kind of thing. Like, if Heracross targets the Pokemon that's supposed to be hitting it and KOs it on the Focus Punch, I don't think anything matters at that point. That's just going to be GG right there. So let's get into the next battle. Alright, so we have a little different of a strategy this time, but I think I can see where it's going. Lilligant gets speedy in the sun after you. Heracross wrecks things, and it's against a full team of legendary Pokemon. Now the question is, are we going to see like just that first turn explosion on the Torkoal, and then following it up with shenanigans? Or is Lilligant going to go for a bit more than just like after you support? We got some fun. We got some fun going in here right now. So yeah, another thing that Lilligant does is just after you into the Torkoal, giving it that speedy eruption, which would be great against that lead. So we're going to see what gets taken down right here. Genesect, download, special attack rose. I mean, yeah, like, how are you going to stop that as the opponent? Like, you can't. So, Lilligant, oh, Jirachi's going to protect. I mean, that technically delays it, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a stop. And then Lilligant's after you into the Torkoal. So, I mean, just some after you fun on Fan Fridays right now. Enjoying this. And then that's going to be Genesect getting wrecked. No way of survival. No Focus Sash. None of that. And that's going to be one down so far. Volcanion coming in as the response. So Volcanion, very interesting Pokemon because we don't really see it too often. It was kind of like an obscure event, and then it's mythical, so it doesn't happen that often. But Torkoal is still going to go and spam that eruption. I want to know how much damage it's going to do to the Volcanion, because the quad resist fire. Not enough to take down the Jirachi. Doesn't even do much to the Volcanion. And then that is going to be a wish. So Jirachi is just like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just play it as safe as possible. And then Earth Power, wrecking Torkoal right there. But Torkoal will hang on. Has the eject. Oh, dude, that's brilliant. That's better than Explosion. Because you erupt, you do absurd damage, you get tagged, maybe, if something survives, and then you go into the Heracross, and Heracross is safe. Not bad. And now that's going to be the Focus Punch. So Focus Punch, Jirachi's protecting, and I think you wouldn't hit the Jirachi anyways. Like, Jirachi's obvious. Wish, Protect, he's free for the turn. After you're going to increase that priority of the Focus Punch, and then how much does it do to the Volcanion? KO. It does KO to the Volcanion. So that's good right there. Heracross, now the Moxie Snowball coming in. Jirachi, though, healing up with that Protect. Got some fun. And what is it like? So I guess that this is where Heracross wants to be. Again, since we're playing after you strats, you don't need to have any speed investment. So it's tanky enough to survive a hit from something, but nothing's going to survive a +1 Focus Punch from the Heracross. Heracross just has good stats. Lilligant, it's just the same thing. Sunny Day, that kind of helps for whenever we get that Torkoal set up. I'm just kind of like analyzing the field right now, and not much can be done. So Heracross going to Focus Punch, that's going to hit the Zekrom. It's like, okay, cool. Hit Zekrom, what is Jirachi going to do? And even then, say the Heracross goes down, Lilligant's still a Sun Sweeper. It can do a Quiver Dance, it can just go for raw damage. Everything just hurts, and you can't deal with it. So Jirachi has a Shadow Ball, targets Lilligant. I mean, that's the damage that Heracross was worrying about. Not much at all. It's kind of what we can take from this one. And Heracross, it's got 125 on the attack, so that's crazy amounts of stab, base power into just everything, and then Moxie just kind of adding more and more to that. So I would say pretty solid overall. After you fun, Heracross just going and sweeping. And now I guess the rest of these battles are just going to be styling on legendary Pokemon because Heracross is cool like that. Let's see how it plays. I mean, Magearna. Magearna does not want to deal with the after you. Like, this is just a mix of after you and Heracross sweeps. And you know what? I'm a fan of that. I think we saw the after you Focus Punch recently. It was like one of those things like, oh, those are deep game mechanics that actually end up working out. And now it's starting to get a little bit more fancy with this one. So Marshadow Magearna. Oh no, how are we going to shut down the Marshadow? It's so strong. It's one of the greatest Pokemon ever. I mean, you can use some speed shenanigans and just make it happen. So Lilligant coming in with that after you. Torkoal, instant wreck. If you don't know about this combo, if you don't see it coming, you deserve to lose your Magearna. You deserve to lose your Magearna for that one. But, like, really, there's not much you can do about it. You switch into an Eruption and die. Yeah, switch into an Eruption and still, like, take way too much damage. Marshadow can only do so much to Torkoal, which is like a massive defensive Pokemon. And there's the eject button. So, I mean, it works. You kill something, eject button, combo, Heracross comes in, GG no re. You don't want Marshadow stealing them stats. So, is this where, like, Heracross does its own thing? We have Lilligant take out the Marshadow using that speed, and then stuff happens. That's going to be Heracross going up against the Mega Deontay as well. So, Mega Deontay is a pretty threatening Pokemon in this case. But it's still going to be the Focus Punch after you. Okay. And since Marshallow's a Ghost-type Pokemon, I guess we can say it's only going to be able to hit the Deontay. So how much damage is Deontay going to take? Okay. You can do that neutrally with the Heracross. Just a little disgusting. Just a little disgusting right there. And then what is Marshadow wanting to do? Ooh, Z-move. So Soul Stealing, 7-star Strike. Yeah, that's it. Coming out of the shadows, doing its thing, getting that change on. So I mean, that shows it has a Spectral Thief. I'm not a huge fan of the Soul Stealing 7-star strike because it doesn't add too much to damage. It removes the secondary effect of Spectral Thief. It's just whatever. Just whatever to me. Looking to target the Lilligant. I'm guessing Focus Sash on the Lilligant, because if it does get targeted, that means you weren't hitting the Heracross and then you died. But Lilligant, no. I'm a little shocked at that one. I get we might have seen the item. I'm bad at calling items on Fan Fridays. I just don't know what to expect. But my thought would be, if it's hitting Lilligant, then that means the other thing died to Focus Punch already, and Heracross is still at full hit points. Might as well keep it around for another turn. That way you can Focus Punch again. You know, you can do some weird stuff like that. Marshadow come in with the close combat onto Porygon 2. That's just Porygon 2's tankiness, and also why I'm kind of against running it with the Marshadium Z, because you don't get the extra damage off Life Orb. Now, Life Orb wouldn't have KO'd that Porygon anyways. That's the bulk of a Mega, or not Mega, that's just the bulk of a Heracross as well. Hitting, though, with that, what move was that? Like, that was the Mega Horn, right? So, I mean, that just came in for crazy damage and wrecked everything. Like, everything's just getting wrecked right now. And all Porygon has to do is survive, get that Trick Room, and Marshadow can't really do anything. You can't Shadow Sneak the Porygon, and then you get undersped by the Heracross. So, Porygon 2, going to recover. Going to get that health for the recovery. That's interesting. And then Heracross is going to Rock Blast. So pretty much just kind of securing it in your favor no matter what happens. Rock Blast comes through, and then that is going to be the KO. So yeah, that quick and easy. So we saw Rock Blast. Oh wait, that was not over? I thought that was the last Pokemon. Life Orb, and then there's the defeat right there. So yeah, Heracross going down Life Orb at the end. So what I was going to say is we have Rock Blast. We got the Shadow Claw, which was a nice little bit of tech. Then we also have Focus Punch, and then we have Mega Horn. So it works out, and pretty cool. I will say it's all pretty cool. So if you guys enjoyed, and I was going to say something else about the Marshadow, right? Yeah, Marshadow, you're just losing the overall damage that you might need at the very end or something, because it has good stats. Like, the speed and attack stats are really good, but it's not like insta-dropping everything levels. That was a super effective hit against Porygon. Wasn't enough to KO. It wasn't super effective. You know, you're not finding those one-shots on everything. So you still have to play Marshadow just right before you start stealing stats, and I feel it's better to have a different item in some situations. So there we go, guys. Hope you all enjoyed the battle, and I'll see you in the next Fan Fridays.